And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Coming at you from a different studio.
Woo woo. Do you know what? It's so exciting. I just want to play the intro.
Go for it.
Hello and welcome. Look at us. We're back and in the new studio.
So exciting.
We've been teasing it for so long and now it's finally here.
It's exciting to be me and you back on a screen in a traditional format because we tried to do one while we were running around a park and obviously that didn't quite go to plan.
Should we make a formal apology? Feel like, I'm so sorry. That was terrible of us.
Extended our thumb. But it was all in the name of a good cause though. We are training for a tough mudder, so
We are. We are how many weeks in? It's hard to count because you're coming off of a foot surgery.
me, because we did a body count stuff. Body count, shouldn't say that.
Jesus.
Way. We did what was the word that I'm looking for? Composition.
Body composition.
Body composition test on Monday. So for me, that was the start point this Monday.
You know what? I'll agree to that. I'll consider it the same. Everything before was a preview. We've got Jost in the chat. Jost is a lovely member of the Untangled during the weekdays. It's lovely to have you here during the main podcast.
The evening session.
They've been very excited looking at your bus, and they've been inspired themselves to want to live in an open top bus so that they can have a garden.
So amazing, especially with the weather that we've had this week. Like it's completely changed bus life with the weather being so nice.
I agree.
Yeah, very good. Well, I had a young person that I was chatting to today about living in a bus, and he was like, "This is it's such an amazing idea." I was like, "I know." Live on wheels.
Why don't more people do it? Like, do you know what? You must feel like you get the same, that 50-50 split of people that are like, oh my God, I could never do that. And people that are like, oh, I wish I could do that.
I was thinking about this last night because I want to do like a little, I was gonna, because I've been spray painting and I don't do any kind of prep. I just make these decisions, just go into them. So before you know it, I'm like covered in spray paint, like black hands for days. And then I was like, oh, I should do some screenshots of like what it's like to convert a bus when you're ADHD. And then I thought, would anyone even convert a bus if they weren't ADHD? And I think it was quite a fascinating thought because do any neurotypical people do these things? Or is it a purely neurodivergent thing to do?
I mean, you've got to be a little bit out there to have these ideas. To have the idea is one.
Yeah.
To actually go through with it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It just makes me think that neurotypical people, like you say, perhaps haven't thought of it, don't think it's possible, don't have the follow through, whereas neurodivergents are more likely to say, oh, there's a possibility there.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not prepared enough to see any flaws in this plan. So gonna leap head first and then have no choice but to work it out as I go.
It's often the best way to do it. I find I wouldn't do much if it wasn't relying on those natural parts of me.
Yeah, I actually think that's true for a lot of the things I do.
Joss has said, one of the things that would put them off is a HGV license. How do you feel about that? Have you got anything you want to share?
I really didn't enjoy being under instruction. I didn't enjoy my driving lessons under instruction. So have you got your license, your regular license? Because if you enjoy driving anyway, then you get through it and it's not the end of the world. So I signed up and it was like a 1 week course. I think it was about £2,000. And in that course, you had like 3 or 4 days on the road under instruction. You had to do a little reversing test and then the test at the end. First one of which I did fail. Then I had to pay another £500 to do it again. So it can be costly, but that's the only thing really that I would say is a problem, is the fact that it can be a bit costly. But the great thing with the HGV is you've always got it then. You could actually become a HGV driver. You know, there's a lot of jobs out there that pay pretty good money that you need the HGV license for.
That's not a bad idea, actually, at the minute, with the amount of jobs that people are struggling to get. I mean, if you're a young person or you just don't have any responsibilities necessarily, it's quite a good job in terms of like the hours that you work, the amount of pay you get, the places that you get to see.
Work for yourself, essentially. I mean, because you're on the road. If you enjoy your own company, or you like listening to podcasts, or you like kind of seeing the roads and seeing what's out there, then I think it would be a very attractive job option.
I agree.
I can't see the chat over here. Remind me of what I need to do. You said to me before about swiping it along or something like that.
If you go to the comment, there should be comments, and then it looks like there's the ability to swipe across.
Comments. Oh, I know why it is. It's because I've not gone through my YouTube app. I went through my story link.
Yeah, that's really annoying actually. When you tag something through Instagram and it's hard for people to add you through that because it doesn't take you to your account.
It never takes you to your account. It's very frustrating because quite often I'll think, oh, they've got a YouTube channel, wicked, click the link, and then I'm not signed in, so I can't subscribe. I have to try and find them through my app, which isn't always easy if they're not very established.
Exactly. And trying to remember the name as well. Like, I appreciate a different podcast official is quite long. But I always say, if you just write Lindzi and Steph, we've gone quite good with the branding. Lindzi being unique spelling.
It definitely has helped, hasn't it? Thanks, Dad, for making my name a unique spelling. It's come in handy after all these years.
Ain't it? Thank you, Daddy. So today is World Book Day.
I was so excited about it. I actually woke up and was like, it's World Book Day.
Well, I'm excited because we have our favourite author in the building with us today. No, not you. Someone else is coming.
My book. I know, I did think that. I was like, is there someone else? That had a quick panic.
Wait, if you haven't seen the trilogy, the Jodie trilogy, this is the first of the books?
It is. Well, it's the first released, but it's the middle book. There's a prequel and a sequel, so it's...
Okay, it's like Star Wars-esque, like the way they're released isn't this... Okay. Oh, I love it.
Available on Amazon.
Get yours from Amazon. There's plenty of books, actually, that you can get from Amazon and from our website that I strongly recommend you going and having a look for. There's a different resolution. We have the different guides. So there's ADHD, anxiety, and the basic 5 senses. And Lindzi put in a ton of work making them. They're amazing.
I've got a little announcement about a book plan as well.
Oh my God, go ahead. Drum roll.
We are going to launch a book, a collection of inspiring stories.
This is like finding out on Tough Mudder, but I'm not gonna lie, not scary. Yeah, not as scary.
On my list, I was like, announce the step that you've had an idea that you're going to see it through.
That's amazing. Okay, Joyce is saying how wonderful. We've got the support in the chat. I love that.
Just thought the videos, like the podcast, were all about bringing those stories in a visual way that you can listen to and watch. And then I thought, not only do I like writing, I love reading as well. And I thought, do you know what? I pulled together a collection of narcissist tales a few years ago, and it was a lot easier than writing your own book because everyone else does their story and then, you edit it and you put it together. But I thought, you're a fabulous artist. We've got George, who's a fantastic artist. If we get these stories and then do some really nice illustrations around them,
that'd be so cool.
And then we can have a book launch party as well.
Anything to have a party.
That's the idea.
I keep thinking, like, we've got to have people come and see your bus. Like, the closer it gets to being done, it's like, okay, we need tickets. People will pay to come and view this.
I kind of thought about the book launch party. Maybe we could tie it all in the summer with, everybody that's involved in the book gets invited. They can bring guests because
I love that.
That way, then you're getting like people on the ground, aren't you? But we could almost do like a little mini fete, like a mini gala type thing. So
No, definitely. And by the way, anyone that's like paying for tickets, like, don't worry, like, we never make money out of anything. We don't charge you for anything ever.
it's definitely, the bus is definitely ticket worthy though. Like, you have to pay for a bus ticket, so why would
You are at Van Life Festival or Barefoot this year, then maybe you might see something,
yeah.
some sort of bus.
Barefoot is local to Leicestershire, so if anybody's watching and they're local to us, and then Van Life is like Yorkshire.
North Yorkshire.
Yeah, so and we're going to be there at both of those. So excited.
Oh, a little soft launch. I thought because we were there last year, is it an announcement? But I was like, I'm saying it. I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Here we go. And Mark's in the chat. Hello. Mark, what do you think?
Hello. How fabulous is this setup?
We are in the same room. I know it might seem a little bit maybe I hadn't made that clear. We are in the same room. This is the studio.
Yeah, it kind of looks like we're zooming in. But I mean, because the camera's there and I keep looking at you, then hopefully people can see that there's that shift of.
Yeah, definitely. I have to remember that it's there and not here because it used to sit up here.
You're so clever being able to like work all this out. I just wouldn't have been able to get my head back.
I will take the clever compliment because it wins over the tearing my hair out moments that I've been having in the days leading up.
Say we here as though like I didn't just turn up, but just take a seat.
We've got Alexi in the chat. Hey, girl, where's the hey girl? Hello. Joyce is saying, do you have an old ticket machine? Would be good to make mementos for visitors.
That is such a good idea. I'm writing it down. I don't have one, but I'm going to make that a reality.
That's wicked.
That is a very cool idea. Get a pen.
I've been trying to think of like things people can take away, things like little momentum things, like.
But just a bus, not just a bus ticket, but a ticket is a very cool.
That's so cool
idea. Because I even thought, in the long run, like if we did some kind of subscription service in terms of, I don't know, like how people do. I know we do. Well, I suppose we do in a way because we've got our patrons and we do our private streams for the Patreon supporters. But to do it as like a bus pass and have it as named as though it's like, because you have like the all day travel, don't you? And the get on, get off. There's a lot of
a day saver.
Yeah, there's a lot of play on words that you can have in terms of bus passes and things like that.
There's workshopping to be done. I like it. But there's a seed, there's an idea. Yeah.
Seed is there.
Seed.
Writing that down though, like a little ticket machine or, some kind of old school looking ticket is fantastic.
Yeah, if you could find some old, like even some retired vintage one.
Or even if the tickets themselves got sent out in the post or whatever, but then you have you punch the hole with.
Oh my God, if you get so many visits to it's going to be a community library anyway, right? So I feel like that would work.
When the community library is like off the ground, I want to do it where, say if there's a book that's really hot right now kind of thing, I want to do postal subscriptions as well. So it's like I'll send them out from the bus and back again and things. Because I'm just about bringing literacy to people's doors. That's my main thing. Especially, I never push reading on people that aren't interested. If you're not interested, that's fine. But those that can't access books or whatever, that breaks my heart.
That's the idea of it being a community library, right? Rather than like
so many libraries have been closed down.
Losing their funding, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like the kids' youth clubs and adventure playgrounds around our way. There was a big kind of protest recently because they're losing the funding. And the trouble is, people, I think, councils and whatever, you think they can save money on the short term. In the long term, the effects will be massive because you take those things away now, and then the young people coming through, they're much more likely to turn to crime and all of those kind of things. And in the long run, the impact is going to be far heftier. It's like, how short-sighted can you be?
I think a real problem with society is we we see money as the thing that's the value, and money isn't. Money
Yeah.
goes up and down in value. It is the resources. If you
Yeah.
give people a ton of money, inflation will go up, the cost of things will go up, because that's just how it works. Stuff will just be more expensive.
Yeah.
If you put money into these resources, it makes a healthier community that can then invest back into the community.
Yeah.
Like,
That becomes more valuable.
it's
like-
just a no-brainer, right?
Oh, you'd think so. And when people talk about common sense, it's becoming clearer to me that that doesn't exist. If we should be calling it uncommon sense, because there's not many of us that seem to kind of be thinking along those lines. I don't know.
No, totally agree.
Oh, Alexi, we're so glad that you're back. Because I've not been on your guys' stream for ages and I've missed it. We've missed
Oh,
you too.
we've missed you all. Yeah, don't worry. I don't think you've been
You've
fully
not missed
missing
much,
too
actually.
much.
Yeah, thinking about it. That's probably why you've not seen us going live so often, because we've not been going live so often.
Ain't it?
So yeah, you've not actually missed that much, mate. Don't worry.
It's very sweet to see you, though. When someone's not there for a while, you're like, have we lost them?
Yeah.
Have they grown up? Have they flew the nest? Have they found their next podcast? Makes me think of, when I grew up watching a lot of TV, and I remember my age ranges for what TV program channel that I watched. It started off at like Cartoon Network, and then Nickelodeon, and then Trouble, and then E4.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's taking me down memory lane now. Just thinking, like, you felt so grown up, didn't you, when you moved on to that next?
I'd be like, I get the jokes. So ridiculous. But yeah, here's World Book Day. But we had a few more things that we wanted to mention, right? And I think in theme of World Book Day.
Yeah, so I'm going to share the Legacy Project's fundraising link, because they are the Legacy Project are a really fantastic support network for the music industry, and the fact that there's this huge connection between being neurodivergent and in the music industry and more likely to suffer with your mental health. So that's what their work centers around, is providing that mental health support within the music industry, and places to go if you're feeling depressed and stuff like that. And it's Scott, isn't it? Is that his name?
Oh.
Yeah. So when it was International Men's Day in November, and
Scott,
he was talking on it's because I've got him saved in my phone still as Legacy Project. And he did us a little kind of chat, didn't he, and explained, where he was, where he's come through, and he's had his own battles. So he's ADHD and autistic himself as well, so he completely gets where people are coming from. But he's just come off the back of open heart surgery, and he's going to be doing a walk the length of the UK.
oh my
which
word.
I know, and he's got a university on board that have done a bit of research, and so far it sounds like this has never been done before. Like, they can't find any record of it being done before. So it's a great example of an ADHD going, I want to do this, and
Oh
then
my word.
really plugging it to make sure it happens. So
Oh, I'd rather build a bus.
in the summer, he's going to be walking the length of the UK, and he's got a fundraiser going because it's all self-funded and all the rest of it. But as he's going, he's going to be playing music 24/7 constantly. He's raising awareness for mental health, ADHD, autism, music industry, and all of that. And I'm hoping that we will be able to join him and bring like a live episode whilst we're walking with him, or
That'd
something.
be really fun.
Yeah, and what I've said to him is he's going to let us know if he comes through Leicester for a start, but if he can't come through Leicester, because it just depends on what path.
We're in the middle, right?
Yeah, I know, and chances are he'll come very close even if he doesn't come through Leicester. But the bus will be on the road by the time he is walking anyway. So what we've said loosely when I spoke to him in the week is that we will drive to the end point of where he's coming to on one day, so he can stop over in the bus, and then we'll walk some of the next day with him.
That's a wicked idea.
Yeah, and he's really up for it because he's been watching the bus stuff, and he's like, oh my God, I'd love to stay on the bus. So
oh
yeah, so we're going to make that work somehow. But I wanted to share the fundraising link in case anybody has got a few pennies to help him out.
That is in the description already.
And
on it.
wicked. And just to raise awareness about what he's doing, like, you know, I think it'll be a fun and yet important journey.
I think it sounds wicked. Just mentioning seeing completed solo. Is this things he's done? Things that legacy like. How do you say it? Is it legacy?
Legacy, yeah, legacy project.
My brain wants to pronounce that eight
C, yeah,
every time. But the things that he's done so far already are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Completed solo climbs of Snowdon, Ben Nevis to raise awareness and funds. Placed a flag at the summit of Ben Nevis for Sinead O'Connor. So that's really sweet.
Yeah, he's nuts. I'm laughing because it's nuts, but it's brilliant at the same time. And I'm sure after he'd done one of those solo challenges was the first time that he had like the heart problems, and he ended up, I don't know if he had a huge heart attack or something, had his first lot of surgery, and then that's what the open heart surgery just recently has been kind of tied into. So he doesn't let anything stop him.
Well, good on you, Scott. That's awesome. And can't wait to join you on your journey.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun. Yeah, if you've got any few pennies that you can spare for Scott and his awesome journey, please do. The link is in the description. And there is another thing as well. Invisible Women.
Oh, yeah. I love that. So that's the book that I've got next to me. I'm just getting back to my list. Yeah, that's all I'd written down. Women's Day ADHD book. But yeah, so it's International Women's Day on Saturday. I've been talking about it all week in class, and I've really been advocating for the fact that this is for everybody, Women's Day. So as soon as I even dared to utter the words, it's International Women's Day on Saturday, one of my young men spun around. Oh, right, well, when's it Men's Day?
We get it every year, folks.
Men's Day's in November, and we did a whole episode dedicated to it. And, you know, I'm already getting anxiety about, because I can't wait to share a post on Saturday, like, this is the pose for Women's Day for this year. So it's like a strong pose.
Got my muscles this year as well.
And
oh, look at that with the light.
And I've got a poem recorded, obviously. Things like that, and I'm already like really excited, like, oh, I can't wait to make these posts. But in the back of my mind, I'm also already anxious about the feedback that I get every single year from men coming at me in the comments, because how dare I, celebrate International Women's Day? Yeah. But can I just point out, on Men's Day, which we also did a post for, not one female commented and said, "When's it Women's Day?" Check yourself before you start commenting on my post.
I can't wait for someone to ask me, oh, you don't do that for Men's Day? Actually, yeah, I did. Yeah. Episode, here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I thought that would be great to just link it to that episode, because it was a fantastically powerful and moving and emotional episode. You know, I felt really touched by the men that got involved. And this is the thing, isn't it? Yeah. Like, it's as much for men as it is for women every time we do this, because we're highlighting the strengths and the qualities of the different genders. We are different, and there's nothing wrong with that. So this book here, Invisible Women, for those that are unsure about the inequalities that exist, I began reading this and, was enraged. So if you want a good old fashioned temper tantrum, then give it a read. But it's absolutely fantastic, because it really explores the fact that the world was designed right at the start, this capitalist culture that we live in right now, by a boardroom of men.
Yeah.
So men, I'm not digging at men right now, but right at the very start, every single data analysis and piece of research that everything is based on men. So it's really, really a good resource for kind of clarifying where those inequalities still lie, and that there is still a lot of work to do.
100%.
And one of the things I'll just quickly point out as well is that unless you are a middle class cisgendered white male, the world is not built for you. So if you are sat there listening to this as a male feeling like, but I've got inequality, you probably have, because unless you are the kind of
Yeah.
that man that built it in the first place, then it doesn't cater for neurodivergent males. It doesn't cater for males that are gay or born in,
Underprivileged.
working class men. You know, it doesn't cater for a lot of us. So we should all be angry and we should all get together on this.
Yeah, definitely. It's that same people, oh, what about Men's Day, that say, oh, not all men. And it's like, well, until that inequality has been lessened, until, you know, that disparity is less, then
Yeah.
yes, we need, and if you're taking offense at it, what, like we said, why?
Yeah, shadow work might need doing there. That's
Yeah,
whenever something
definitely.
triggers you, it's worthwhile thinking, why is that triggering me? And doing a little bit of healing around that.
I mean, it feels like it's becoming a lot more confident. People saying it in the online as well. With I saw one the other day that was just like, I think we should just give up women's rights. We've tried it; they don't really work. And he was being genuine, and I was like,
What?
can't say what I feel because we'll get shut off.
I mean, I was reading somewhere and it said, can we start rephrasing it that women didn't win us the rights to vote? The rights to vote were withheld from us by men. And it's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They were withheld. Why? They should never have been withheld.
they were at one point always at the start of time. It was equal; everyone could vote. The problem is only men of a rich background, like we're saying,
Yeah.
this stereotype, this archetype that society is built for, could read.
Yeah.
They already had this upper hand. If you can't read, how do you vote for someone? You don't understand how to go to a voting thing.
And this brings me back to World Book Day and the importance of that, though. Like, the stories have played such an important role, and being able to pass on those story elements, even if it is just verbally, but being able to read opens up so many doors for you, and it lessens the chance of you being taken advantage
Yeah.
of. You can do your own research.
Most definitely, even as simple as like sign reading, right? That way to safety, that way to danger.
Yeah,
You need to be able to work this out. Oh, Hannah's in the chat. Hello, chicken.
Hey,
Don't worry at
good
all.
morning. Oh, I love that. Sorry, I'm late. It's like we're running late. We're late every time.
Don't worry, I'm not your boss. You can turn it whenever you want.
Just glad you're here.
Ain't it? It's well, yeah, shout out to Caroline. I was trying to pronounce this in my head.
Fredo, I think, is it? Or Criado?
Criado Perez.
She's on Instagram though, and this isn't her only book. She does a lot of really, really cool work and writes a lot of I think she's got other books out. But I tell you what, this one disturbed me so much that I was like, okay, that's enough of that for now. That's enough of that. Yeah, it was an eye opener. Really, really was.
Do you know what? I feel like that was me at college when I was learning about, I've said it before on this podcast, functionalism, which is this idea that capitalism actually does work.
Yeah.
That you need it for growth and for all this stuff. And then I was like, makes sense. Then I learned about feminism and I was like, wait a second. And then I learned about Marxism and I was like, hold the phone. We are all screwed.
So you're bringing back memories of, like, I'm sure it was in general studies we covered a little bit to do with capitalism and communism and all these different times, and because the way it was presented to me was so boring that when we talk about it, I'm like, oh, I do remember doing this learning, but it wasn't presented in a way that felt, that it had anything to do with me.
Know exactly what you mean.
Now it's like,
I did psychology at school and actually dropped it. It was the reason I got kicked out. It was 'cause they didn't process it properly. It's just so ironic. I remember learning about Pavlov's dog and being like, what is this? This is ridiculous. Why am I learning about a dog?
Yeah.
It's spit. It's gross. I want to get out of this lesson. Cut to a few years later, I'm like, love this dog. Love his saliva.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because it's like I was listening to the radio on the way over here, and I used to love Radio One Extra, but the music, I just ended up thinking, are you for real? Are you really rapping about your watches and your cars? Like, get a grip. And I turned it off, and then I thought, oh, maturing. I'm old now. Like, when did this happen? Because I used to be listening to this thinking like,
Yeah.
these are the kind of men that I love. This is the kind of man I want in my life. Like, what?
I know what you mean.
I'm not the same person that I was a few years ago and a few years before that. Like, crazy.
Growth is really empowering, isn't it? It's like, wait, hold on, I'm a new person. I'm a new woman.
Hearing it through different ears, though, isn't it? It's so strange. It's like, oh, I understand now where my mum was coming from when she'd just go, turn this like crap off or whatever. Now it makes sense. Like, I just couldn't fathom how you could not enjoy it. Whereas
Yeah.
one day it just sounds different.
No, yeah, definitely. I feel like stuff for a while has just sounded ridiculous. I went through a while when trap started coming really popular.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, every song just sounds the same. And it was just doing my head in. And again, that's something that your mum said, no, it just sounds the same. And I came to the conclusion that I was like, I need to not let my brain do that. Because I feel like the older the more you lean into it, the older you feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you kind of reject young people, and that's such a natural thing that we do anyway.
Yeah.
But it like
in our day it was better, or we had a better upbringing kind of thing.
I also don't want to be like me and the kids,
Yeah.
as kids, and someone's like, "You're 33. What are you on about?" Like, just
I think having humor with anything is the key.
open-mindedness, humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's like, I can reject the kind of music of today with my students, but in a humorous way. And it doesn't make me feel quite such a fuddy duddy.
No, I think music can be an exception as well, because sometimes it is just like, what is happening? Also, this song was released 10 years ago. Like, it's not even old enough for it to be a remix, surely.
See, recently that Linkin Park was classic rock now. Was you said that to me, or somebody recently was saying that?
I said it recently. I don't know if it was to you. Was it really? I was laughing about Nickelback.
Yeah, no, that was definitely Nickelback. And then someone else said to me, maybe I'd told them that, because then they said about Linkin Park got referred to as this well old song, and it was like, what? Oh my God, I'm well old.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. I mean, the idea that classic rock as a genre moves blows my mind, because I remember seeing on a podcast actually people arguing. They were like, no, classic rock is like Led Zeppelin, and someone was like, well, no, it's kind of like the Beatles, and it's kind of like, well, no, it kind of grows with each generation, doesn't it? 100%. But less on rock music.
Yeah.
More on
characters.
So the episode title and the thumbnail, you might have seen, the ultimate character battle. Where on earth have we got this from? The National Literacy Trust. This is the recommended teaching lesson for World Book Day that they recommend. I've already said that.
I didn't do it, mind, because as much as I love reading and go on about books, I think I've got one student actually, not every single one of them. So 1 out of about 20 reads. So there would have been no point. Would have had no idea.
Yeah, I think understanding that this was a mainstream school type thing. Having kids that will participate is another game, right?
What we did.
Love a zine.
I got from podcast. Yeah. Shout out Untangled.
We love a zine.
But yeah, and I was so excited about it, and we made them, and like literally they were looking at me like I was asking them to like eat a frog. I was like, kids, you get to be creative, you get to make it on anything you want. They're all like, oh.
I hate it. That's the other bit where I struggle to relate to kids, because no matter how like I was, I still loved creating stuff. If someone put a colouring book in front of me, I'd be like, all right.
Isn't it? No,
I'll still get on with it.
Honestly, I mean, I really wanted to make one, like a little mini zine on like witchcraft stuff. But the fact that none of them would engage meant that I couldn't sit down and do one, which I was furious at them for. Like, how selfish do you have to be, kid? You lot don't want to do it. Now I can't do it. So there was like 7 empty zines by the end of the day. Like, can't say I didn't try.
Well,
To make it exciting.
Bring them over. You got fresh stuff.
Fill them all.
Oh, that's like a blank canvas. I love it. That's
thing.
For anyone that doesn't know, by the way, a zine, basically short for magazine. But unlike magazines, even, they have absolutely no capitalist material in them. So there's no adverts. There's no trying to sell you anything, make you feel bad about anything. They're generally just ways for people to share information that they have, or it could be about their favorite thing they did that day. It could be about a photography project they've been doing. It could be just teaching someone a lesson that you want to teach someone. But yeah, there's people that sell these.
We should start in a different zine and just kind of like do quarterly.
I'd love a load. Even like could flick through them on the bus, sort of thing. Like, I love that. I've got a load downstairs.
I'm sure it's zine month. I'm just full of great announcements. I'm sure
That's my birthday month.
Oh, there you go. Birthday zines.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited now.
But yeah, back to this character battle. It usually, well, because it's a demand. It's weird, isn't it? But because I knew we were doing something, I felt like sick with anxiety about it. I've had to tell myself over and over, like, Lindsay, it's nothing.
I'm the same.
It's so strange, like how the brain works.
Even like right now, I'm like, I'm happy just talking. Do we have to do this? And it's like, it's in the title. Let's just do it. But just remember, when we do anything, it's
We
never.
do.
No, exactly.
You in on a little secret.
I don't know how well this is going to go anyway. I just thought this would be funny if two grown adults try a lesson plan that's meant for 11 to 17-year-olds, which is quite a gap, right? I feel like it's adapted.
I think
to their age.
It's a cool idea in the sense that we play top trumps in the class. I've got like a sharks one. So I always reason to myself that it's quite educational.
So is there a process to top trumps? Like
I'm not
a formality?
Sure, because I think it's one of those games that everyone plays slightly different. But how we do it is we just split the cards in half. So in a sec we'll have our card each, which will be our character, and then you'd say to me, intelligence rating, and I'd read my number out and you read your number. Okay. And if whoever's number's higher wins. So yeah. And then that person gets the card, and then you turn to the next card and the next card and the next card. But obviously we're just gonna do one character and just see where they sit. But I think my character's, I don't know, she's probably not gonna rate very high in any of it. It depends what the topics are.
I picked my favourite characters, realising they have very little examples of the things they're asking me from. So I've had to really
same really.
Bring out my A-level analysis skills where I'm justifying everything. Point, evidence, explain.
Do we have categories, like intelligence, creativity, that kind of thing?
There was intelligence, kindness, agility, sense of adventure, and strength. But
intelligence, kindness,
again,
agility.
They don't need to be as rigid as
adventure. Strength. It's quite cute.
Hey, cat. Hey, girl.
Hey. Bing. You're just in time for Top Trumps Character Edition.
It's You said you had two that you were deciding between. How did you decide?
Well, my favourite, I just stuck with my favourite.
Okay. Oh god, that's even harder.
My other one was a backup in case we were doing more. And to be honest, this is the thing, I read books so often, but the minute I have to think of a character, I'm like, I can't think of any
I barely read at all. These are books that I read a long time ago, so I had to go back and real find quotes that again they're questionable. If you were my English teacher, you'd be like, Stephanie. So I can't decide about the two characters.
Is it just out of 10 that we have to rate them?
I just did out of 10.
Yeah.
I don't think I wrote hers down on there, to be fair. I'll just come up with it as I'm saying it. My pen.
Just quickly writing some scores down. So shall I do the two characters? Are we doing two or are we just doing one?
We can start with one if we have time for another. We can do another.
Right.
So did you have an opening statement for one of yours?
What, for my character? So do I introduce her, you mean?
Go for it. I've written a whole
Oh, that's so cute. Obviously, these are the two sides of things I've not prepared. I've just got it in my head.
Just because I've prepared doesn't mean it's going to turn out better. You just watch. Where it goes. Yes, go for it.
So my character is the amazing Luna Goodwood. Luna Goodwood, isn't it? Her name is Goodwood. Anyway, Who knows what book Luna Goodwood is from? Let's see if anyone in the chat can get it before it comes up on the screen.
Or I'm not sharing the screen.
So my bus is named essentially. Did I say Lovegood or did I say Woodgood? I can't remember what I said now. Luna Lovegood.
You said Goodwood.
Yeah, I did say good. That's not what I meant. Goodwood. Maybe I'll call the bus Luna Goodwood. No, Luna Lovegood. That's
Luna
it. No one's
Lovegood.
gonna know who it is. I got the name right.
Who?
So if anyone in the chat has got it, obviously we've got a bit of a delay, so I was trying to kind of hold up. But she isn't a main character, but she does play an important role in Harry Potter.
Oh.
And the reason that I went for her is that she is unafraid to be herself. She absolutely owns who she is, and she isn't she's portrayed as not being the brightest crayon in the box, but she also is fearlessly herself and unapologetic about it. And I just think that that is such a fantastic example. I think that she's funny without meaning to be funny as well. She's like a very heartwarming kind of character when she appears in the films and the books.
I love that.
But she's a bit outside of the box as well, because I love the Harry Potter series. I think there's a lot of characters from there that I could have gone for, but I thought if I had to think about my favourite character, none of them are particularly my fave. I just like them for different reasons. So, but Luna, I do absolutely adore.
Oh, I love that. Do you know what? I've not properly watched any of the Harry Potters. I've not read any of them. So I have no idea about this character. I'm
Oh,
excited to learn about
yeah,
it.
she is.
It's interesting that you've gone for a the character that you've gone for, and it'll make more sense when I say mine. It's quite similar, but not.
Yeah.
So the two that I was picking between, one was Mercutio from Romeo and Juliet. I love him. I think he's badass. But the one that I've gone for is Libby Nicholson, and she's from the Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, the Louise Renison books. Oh. She is her younger sister, her baby sister, and she's about 3 when the series starts.
Yeah.
And she's just a whirlwind. She's just this young girl that is so smart, but so like I've got my opening statement. I'm just gonna read that.
Yeah, go for it.
No point me trying to.
Do you know, it's fascinating though, because my other one, my backup, was can't remember his name either. I was gonna Google it before I got it, but he's from the can't even think of the like it's all gone from my head right now. But I think it's Robert Langford in his what are the books where they're like religious kind of settings, and it's
Renaissance?
no, they released a load of films based on the books recently anyway, like over the last few years, like Angels and
really?
Demons was one of them.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, so the main character from that, he's like a detective slash he's a historian. He gets pulled in for his like, but he's like a badass in my eyes. So it's fascinating that we both went for two very kind of similar kind of characters that are completely different to themselves, and then settled on the female one.
Is that the two parts of us? The young, silly, carefree girl, and the like actually kind of badass when I need to be.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, step aside, mere mortals. Libby Nicholson has arrived. And she's here to conquer. This tiny tornado of mischief doesn't just play the game, she rewrites the rules. Who else could strike fear into a full-grown cat, command a household with the nonsensical wisdom, and leave destruction in her wake all before bedtime? Sure, some might call her chaotic, but that's just raw, untamed genius in action. Her unpredictability is not a weakness, it is her greatest weapon. While others rely on strength or strategy, Libby thrives on sheer, unstoppable willpower. She's the wild card no one sees coming, and by the time they do, it's already too late. Libby wins.
Do you know what? That could be about Luna. That is so weird.
When you were describing, I was like, it's a different age, but the way you said like chaotic but funny with it, and
That is so crazy. Like, there's a scene where I can't quite, and obviously all the Potterheads out there will take me down for this, but I'm sure Harry ends up somehow. Oh, I can't because I'm mixing them all up. But there's a scene anyway where Luna's like wandering around and someone's taken her shoes, and she's like, so her and Harry tend to come across each other in these moments, and she's just like, "Have you seen my shoes, Harry?" But you know, like she's so kind of away with the fairies.
like, yeah,
People might bully her a little bit, but she wouldn't even notice that that's what they're doing. Do you know, like because she's so not bothered either. You know, like, I don't know. She's just her own self. And then there's a part as well where there's these creatures that Harry had never seen before because the horse-drawn carriages were always drawn by invisible horses. But then this one year, there's these like really ugly-looking like horse things there, and he's like staring at them. And Luna comes up and goes, "Don't worry, Harry, I can see them too." And she knows all about them. And he's like, "What? You can see them?" And she's like, "Yes." And she's so calm,
oh,
even when like crazy stuff's going on. She's wicked, but her intelligence is portrayed as being very low. But she's got other qualities that mean that she is the one to watch.
I love this. I love this idea of intelligence being seen in different ways than
Yeah.
one, and that's what we're all about with the different human design.
She'd definitely be inattentive ADHD given like a label because she's just so in her own little world type thing.
I think Libby would be hyperactive ADHD, so that is really interesting. So in the first category, we'll go with intelligence.
Okay,
Did you want to start, or did you want?
I'll start. Okay.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
rated Luna a 2 purely because anyone that has read the books, like I say, she is definitely portrayed as being like a bit of a blonde bit, like, kind of. So her intelligence is like very low too.
I like the difference in scoring as well, because what you consider low might not, like this girl that is at a decent school is considered a 2, but I put a 5 for a 3-year-old.
I'm taking the Mickey in the sense that the way top trumps are.
Yeah.
If you had a Harry Potter top trumps, I'd be interested to know what her, because there is a Harry Potter top trumps. I wonder what Luna is rated. But I'm sure
Now I am interested.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm sure that like when you're doing those extremes almost for comical value. That's why I went on the extreme, and it's because I've rated her so high in some of the other. Yeah, I mean, look at the picture that they've chosen as well with them bloody glasses on.
Oh my god. I remember having websites and that stuff didn't come up. Obviously, it's not going to grade her on.
Graded her on intelligence, or is that just that's the fact side, isn't it? So I bet the intelligence is there another side. Oh, if anyone's got the Top Trumps Harry Potter edition, let us know what Luna's intelligence is if they rate her on that. But so Libby gets the Libby and Luna as well. It's strange, isn't it?
And Luna, the similarities are very strange.
Very canny.
Cunning, magic, wisdom. I suppose that would be that,
She's
right?
quite wise
20.
though. She does come out with some right corkers. What have they rated her for her wisdom?
I think that says 20.
Is it out of 100? Do you think?
None of them seem to be
Very
above 36.
Yeah, I mean, she comes out of some wise things, but it's things that her mum. She's like, my mum always said, and then she'll come out of like quite a wise
Okay.
thing, but it's more learned.
That is such a neurodivergent thing, right? To be like, I really don't understand the thing that they're teaching me at school, but actually, this really complex thing about the Roman Empire. I can explain it very well.
Niche, that's what it
Niche.
is. Sorry then.
Intelligence. Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
5. She's young, but she is sharp, and it's in a different way to like straight intelligence, I suppose, because she can outsmart her much older sister. With insightful, strange observations. So one of the quotes is, Libby sat on my head and said, "Pants are on your head, poo bottom." And she reminds me of I didn't have a younger sister, but I know people that had younger sisters and they were nuts. Young little brothers are crazy in their own right.
Yeah.
Little sisters,
Yeah.
my word. I don't know if your sisters was exactly the same.
Well, I mean, I was 21 when my first sister was born, so it wasn't the same. I mean, they were nuts, but it wasn't the same as in that they were attacking me because I was already an adult. So it's.
Did you work with this? Because you've got two different ages sisters, right?
Yeah,
Younger than you. Did you see them?
Watching them play fight and go do lally on each other, yeah. So
there's something about kids. They just make me laugh when they're just like winding each other up. And yeah, I just think to be 3 years old and being able to wind up your 14-year-old sister, pretty intelligent for a toddler.
Love it.
So yeah, win.
Point there.
Kindness.
So this is where Luna, without a doubt, would get top marks, 10 out of 10 there, because she doesn't judge anybody. She is always like there, being supportive. Like if somebody is going through something, she's the one that just appears and then just comes out with a one-liner that has them laughing or feeling better or whatever. So she's got a heart of gold, and there's no denying that.
I kind of want to be friends with Luna. I'm not being funny.
Like I say, she's my favourite.
You know what? You're making me want to watch the book. I feel like that's the idea of this, right?
I absolutely adore the Harry Potter series. I don't care what anyone says. I just think it's absolutely wonderful. I could get lost in that world.
I feel like with adult, that like looking back to school, what we were saying, like we didn't really appreciate that lesson at the time. I feel like books might be able to. Yeah, I'm gonna revisit some books that did not hit when I was younger and see. Kindness. Libby gets a 2.
So we've done like the kind of switch over.
She is extremely affectionate, especially to her cat Angus. If you remember these books, that Angus is a wild Scottish cat, and to the rest of the family, he is a nightmare. To Libby, he lets her do everything. So Libby was sitting on Angus trying to feed him pie. If you ask me, that shows a lot of kindness. But it's maybe a little mischievous and the intent might be there, but yeah, a bit misplaced in terms of, hey, don't feed the cat pie.
Ringing bells like you're talking about these different names.
If it's ringing a bell to you, they actually had a film that came out, Angus Thongs and and Perfect Snogging, they named it, instead of Full Frontal. And if the name change like that winds you up, yes, the film will even more. Because nothing correlated to anyone's brain. It's like everyone read it, had the same view.
Yeah.
The person that directed the film had a completely other, and no one could agree on it. But Libby's part in the film is still really good. There's an iconic bit where her love interest, she's 14, right? Like the guy that she fancies, he's a little bit older, but she's out looking after her bratty little sister that's really embarrassing her. And when he comes up to her, he's like, hi, she's supposed to shake her hand, and she just licks his hand. Can you imagine your little sister like, oh my God, that's so uncool.
Yeah.
Do that. Mortified.
Oh, be a teenager again and all cringy at everything.
No. Do you know what? I'm so glad I don't have to cringe at everything. Yeah. Agility.
So I struggled in terms of, like you said, sometimes there's not the evidence.
Yeah.
But in the end, I settled on a 6 because I thought, although she can be a bit of a whiz with the wand, she is also typically quite clumsy and, tripping over her own feet type of character. So
making the wrong spells every so often.
I mean, she's not a complete klutz, but there's that element of she wouldn't be the kind of top of the class for agility, but she also wouldn't be the worst. Okay. So that's where the 6 came from.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Agility. Libby is constantly running around, jumping off stuff. There's a iconic bit in the book where she walks up the stairs and she's hanging naked from the banister, singing "Bar Bar Black Sheep." And I just
try that later.
I mean, we could give it a go. Don't think I'm as agile as Libby. I don't think it's going to go as well. I might need someone at the bottom ready to catch me.
So, sorry?
I put it as a 6. Oh, yeah, the same as you, right?
Got cause to go.
These girls, I swear to God.
I know. Yeah.
Sense of adventure.
Well, without a doubt, Luna would never turn down an adventure. Like she is the most especially when it comes to Dumbledore's army kind of pulling together and they have to start. It goes from kind of fun adventures to more serious fighting and things. She is reliable. She's always there. So I went for a 10, and this is why I went so low with the intelligent, because it's like there's some trait
See what you
that's
mean.
really strong, but because her sense of adventure is definitely out there.
And that uncovers that being able to be really good in chaotic moments,
Oh,
right? But
yeah.
like being kind of like,
The thing
the
is-
average day-to-day things.
Starting to make sense why I like this chick.
I think that we do, right?
Yeah.
We like these characters that we reflect, or
Yeah,
either we
relate to.
would like to be like, or
Yeah.
do relate to. Sometimes when I read a book, I'll spend like the next few days, sorry, like feeling like I am that person, or like seeing stuff and being like, oh, I wish I was that person.
Kind of almost soaking in a little bit of that trait, though, isn't it? It's like I always think, throughout life, you're almost trying on these identities all the time. Like, I admired this person, so I'm going to kind of emulate her a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Find who we are, isn't it? Because then you think, oh no, that
Definitely.
that off, it doesn't fit right. Or yes, that feels great. That feels right.
Liz says hi. Hello, Liz. Welcome.
Hello.
Would that be Liz?
Yeah,
Liz?
I think it is. That's it.
Hello, Liz. How are you doing? We've got
Feel like
both the
it's a little
girls in the chat.
reunion, Yeah.
We're don't worry, you're just at the end of, well, not quite at the end. Character battle.
I thought I've liked it.
Jed, you know what? This has been kind of fun. This setup feels like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, okay, I've got this. What have you got? It's like, we're gonna do this. So we got to do it.
We are gonna do. I haven't got a clue. Steph's gonna introduce me to it.
I literally think Alexia and Liz will love the Dungeons and Dragons game.
Bit of a tongue twister that.
Oh, especially for me, Jesus Christ. Liz says, I'm okay. How are you girls?
Yeah.
We're doing good. We're in the new studio. I just keep doing this.
I know it feels really fantastic. I love it, and I love how it looks on here as well. Very cool, very professional.
Ooh.
And the sunshine has helped my mood no end this week. Right.
Oh my God. Me and Kat went skating last night. And it was like 8 o'clock at night, and it was warm outside.
Yeah,
it was lovely. First skate of the year. It was good. Shout out, Kat.
Me and Lou was at belly dancing last night. So
how did belly dancing go? Has anyone seen the videos, by the way?
Like I didn't sign up expecting it to be a workout. I signed up as something to to try it. But it is such a good workout. It's crazy. It's like barely any movement, and yet your body it's like Pilates in that respect. Like it's very subtle on the movements, but what you're actually trying to do is so isolated to that area that it ends up a really good workout.
You end up thinking like your abs are made up of like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you move them and like bits up here are hurting and around here, and you're like, I didn't even know I was using that part.
Don't use your knees to move that part. Use the actual muscle to move just that part. So it's very
God, my knees move with it.
Yeah, and she's like, stop moving your knees, stop moving your chest, just move your hips. And how? So yeah, it's really cool. But that's very exciting. First skate of the year.
Skate of the year. And Liz says, sorry, GCSEs have been taking up a lot of my time, so I haven't been able to make it. Don't ever apologise. Get those GCSEs done, concentrate, and we'll be here when you're finished. And you're
loving the Dungeon and Dragons.
I thought you guys would.
Going in on it. This is
I love
great.
that. I'd be wanting to get into it. It'd be really fun if we could do like a big meetup game. That'd be. Need to convince Kyle into dungeon mastering for a big load of people.
Do it like on a Zoom call type setup.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. There's Critical Role, which do it live on YouTube, I think weekly. They've had the same stories running for ages. Okay. Where would we get to? Sense of adventure. Yeah, you're quite high with that one.
Yeah.
Where was mine? Oh, I went for 6. Again, being a toddler, how adventurous can you be? But within the parameters of her age, very adventurous, very fearless, constantly exploring and experimenting. There's a part where Georgia says that Libby has taken all the spoons and buried them in the garden to see if they will grow. And
But Libby grew into Luna.
definitely, she got a letter at 13 and was like,
Yeah.
I'm up. Peace, Georgia. But yeah, I think that amount of time, effort, and imagination put into something, like, you've got to be really into the adventure, right?
Yeah. Sense of curiosity is always an adventurous kind of spirit.
Definitely. The strength, the last one.
Yes. I went for a 7.
Oh, God.
Hey, what the hell? That is crazy.
It was just the sense of adventure that we got. Oh no, and kindness, was it?
Yeah, so I've got it down that you won intelligence. Well, Libby won intelligence, Luna won kindness. We got the same on agility. And Luna got a sense of adventure, but then they grew on strength. But I mean, Luna's got the age element, and she's got a bit more life experience. But the reason I went for a 7 on strength is because mentally she's very strong. Physically, she's strong enough. She's definitely a force to be reckoned with. But on the other hand, she's not the strongest person in the world, hence why it's a 7. So I thought that was a kind of fair score.
No, I agree with that. And again, like I said, age is definitely going against it. But for her age, like her sense of adventure, it's still very high for her age.
Yeah.
There's a part where Libby's dragging Angus by its tail. And as I've said, Angus doesn't like it with anyone else in the family. And
drag a cat by its tail.
yeah, she says something like, Angus is giving her the side eye, but he knows better than to mess with Libby.
I love that. The girls in the chat are saying about Scrabble. I love Scrabble.
Do you know what?
I'm a G at Scrabble.
I would go as far as to say I've never played a full game of Scrabble.
I've got a Scrabble board on the bus.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, Scrabble. It's happening.
The thing with Scrabble, though, just quickly, this is where my nerdiness is going to show. I always really enjoyed Scrabble in the sense of, I've got a good vocabulary. I like the challenge of trying to find the longest word, use up all your letters so you get to pick out more letters, stuff like that, change up the board. Then I started dating a guy, and if he's watching this, you'll know who you are, in my 20s. And he showed me he didn't show me, he used to play tactically against me when it came to Scrabble, as in, if there was a short word but that would get the triple word score or would block that so that I couldn't get it, he would play that way. So he wasn't playing for the element of having the best vocabulary. He was playing for who could read the board. And don't get me wrong, he taught me a lot about life, because that in itself has got that's me versus the world straight away, that I'm playing for the fulfillment and the kind of wanting to show what I've learned and wanting to like be the best because I'm the best, not because I've played in a dirty way or tricked the board. But he played completely different, and he taught me that element, and then I became unstoppable at it, because then, and it ruined it for me, because I hated playing tactically. I liked playing, who's the best at thinking the longest word, not who's the best at blocking every single fun aspect of the game, because now I've took that and now I've took that and I've just added an O onto your word, and I'm still smashing you at the score because I'm playing. So, there's kind of wrong with it. He wasn't cheating.
No, I feel like it's a perfect metaphor for life. Like you grow up and you're like, I don't want it to be dog eat dog, but if I want to like get anywhere somehow, sometimes I have to be that dog eat dog.
And he taught me that in life. Like, he went through jobs, like I'd never known somebody get one job after another, but it's because he could charm the hind legs off a donkey, and he could talk the talk and all the rest of it. Couldn't walk the walk. That's why he lost so many jobs. But I'd been in the same job till that point. Every time I'd gone for an interview, I'd failed it, blah, blah, blah. But he taught me to have that arrogance and that confidence and to walk in that room like I owned it and to let my personality shine through. And we broke up just as I landed an interview in a behavior school. So it was like the first jump from
Wow.
into the behavior industry. And I just went in there and was just like, like kind of how you said earlier about taking those bits of personality from people, and I channeled him and I got the job.
I love that.
And the rest is history because I've been in that industry ever since. But
that's the thing about masking. If you're really good at it, if you've been doing it long enough, you can literally be like, I'm this person now. I'm who you need me to be right now. Possibles.
like that. But he definitely taught me things I needed to know to get me to those next places, because then we broke up, but I went into that industry that I needed to be in.
Yeah, no,
Behaviour
definitely.
management.
Well, in terms of the competitiveness, Alexia and Liz are both saying they'd love to play with us and a non-competitive game of Scrabble.
Oh,
Which I'm not going to lie, for me, who my vocabulary does suck, in comparison anyway, I love the idea of a non-competitive version.
Alexi, definitely let us know when Meliz comes to visit next, because we could do like just a little board game get together type thing.
Yeah, definitely. We did a plant pot painting, didn't we, last week?
Yeah. So, and we're just doing them ad hoc, kind of as and when things, show up. So that would be really cool.
Even after those GCSEs, we can have a celebratory.
Yeah, not long, is it? They're about May time, aren't they?
Oh, girls.
Just remember, when it comes to your exams, it's not the results, it's the skills that you use to apply yourself. It's the motivation, the ambition, the ability to research and to apply yourself and think outside of the box, and all of those things come in handy for life. But the actual results themselves, even if you failed them all but you've got all of those skills, you will be fine. But if you go into it thinking, oh, I'm not bothered, I'm not going to try, you're not going to kind of strengthen the skills that are going to take you places.
Yeah, like how often have you heard us say like, oh, that thing at school that we weren't that into and we were, now we've literally said it this, like, you've just got to.
There's some tools, some foundational tools, like being able to read between the lines and being able to kind of go deeper into a subject that you enjoy and stuff, that they will get you far.
Yeah, definitely. In ways that you just won't even realize as well until you're in the situation. You're like, do you know what? I can do this. I joked about point evidence explain earlier, but it's because that bit of thing got me through so many essays when it came to university. I was like, wait, I can point evidence explain. And when it was put that easy to, I was like, I can do
this.
Okay.
Do you know the thing that scares me is like that lack of in education now, there's not so much being, I can't think of the right word, exposed to so many different words and terminologies and texts and things, because people are just kind of going, oh, I can't be bothered, what's the point, and didn't engage in. But there was two young presenters on the radio yesterday having a debate over what the word mutt meant, and they didn't know what mutt meant. And eventually one was like, it's a dog, isn't it? It's a dog. You say like a mutt when it comes to a dog. And I thought, but it's not just a dog. A mutt is like a mongrel, like a mixed breed, like where it's not a specific breed, like a Labrador.
It's not a pedigree.
You might say it's a mutt. But when you're describing something as a mutt specifically, that is a dog that's not got a pedigree. But, they didn't know that. And it's like, I felt like ringing in like and explaining it to them. And it's like, we've kind of lost that, is it because the family unit's not the same? Because there was things that my grandparents were teaching me on days out, we'd be out and about and they'd just be talking to me all the time. I think through people being on their phones a lot, those conversations aren't happening. And, I was thirsty for that knowledge anyway, but
yeah,
I don't know. It just made me feel like, I felt really sad for them that they were just like, oh yeah, it's a dog though, isn't it? It's a dog. And I thought, but it's not just any dog. You might call a dog a mutt interchangeably, but on the other hand, a mutt specifically is a non-pedigree dog.
like, I don't know how certain news presenters, not news, sorry, radio presenters get away with it, but I'm starting to think it's actually something that's a necessity for the channel to do well. You need it's kind of like when you say you posted this life hack on Facebook, right? It goes viral, but
Yeah.
because when stuff goes that viral, it reaches the haters.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
kind of help the algorithm.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
It's such a
reason.
backward way to live, isn't it?
It's disgusting. It's horrible. It makes me feel sick.
Just quickly before we sign off, Steph's just mentioned about the viral post on Facebook. If anybody follows the A Different Human Design page on Facebook, they'll see
Have a
I
look.
put a silly life hack up about a trolley, and it went mad, and the comments were so brutal. But one in particular, this guy was like, "This is not new and it's not original." The frustrating thing is, we do a lot of new and original things, and Facebook doesn't favour any of it, so nobody sees any of it. And it's like,
Ain't it?
mate, go into the page and look what we're all about and all the things we're doing, and you'll realise that there's loads of new and original things on there. And it was like, and then I've obviously commented back saying, "All right, mate, get off your high horse." Like, for me, it was something
Hate
that
it.
when I told other people that didn't know about it, and then he was like, came back at me like, "Get a life," like really aggressively. I was like, "Me get a life? You're the one that's trying to condescend somebody in the comment section on a Facebook post."
My favourite comment on there is someone put, my key is square, and you put, well, you can't use the key then, and he put, yeah, no shit. So I replied, like, you're the one telling us what shape your key is. Like, what else is she supposed to say to that?
I know. I was only trying to be nice. I'd replied back just like, "Why so rude?" Because I was like, "Oh, all right." I was only like, replying back,
literally.
kind of thing. Like,
hey, Graham, or whatever your name is, like,
so much hate in those comments. It was just crazy. One of the girls from my work, she's on maternity leave, but she's had a baby now. She had commented saying, "Oh," and then it had stabbed me in the belly all the time, and I just like laughed back and said, "Well, that's the price you pay for getting your pound," just having a bit of a joke over. People had come at her saying, "Well, you better get to Weight Watchers then, aren't you, if it's stabbing you in the belly and all this." And then she was like to me, "I wouldn't mind, but I've just had a baby." I was like, "No, don't internalize these comments. Like, they don't know you've just had a baby. They don't know what shape you are. They're just being horrible." Like, that's horrible.
I didn't consider, like, it's your post, you're like, oh, I hate this moment, but at least it's getting traction. You can kind of see the benefit. If you're just catching stray fucking L's in the chat just because you're like, oh, maybe it this, you're just like, like,
God.
Facebook, I've wanted to delete it for so long now.
It's a different breed of people. Like, people in there, like this one girl, she was like, "As if you didn't know this." I was like, "What? Obviously I know it." Like,
but like, how bored are you that you're like, not only have you had that thought, you're like, I must leave this comment. I'd be half typing it out, being like, hold on, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like,
it was the sheer aggression behind quite a lot of them that shocked me. I was just like, wow, like, some of you really need to check yourself. Like, who do you think you're talking to? Come at me in the street and talk to me like that. See what happens.
The dark side in people's minds. This is why we advocate for compassion, because when you don't have compassion, there is so much space in the human brain, so much capacity for the dark side, and you can either lean into the caring, the nice, the happy, the good plans, or you can go into that saddest, that evil, the way that you all that horrible stuff that your brain can do.
The mad thing was, when it first started up and all the comments were like mean, 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 my anxiety shot through the roof. And I thought, I can feel a panic attack coming on. And people don't realize that that's what they are causing with their, it's just one comment. It's just one comment. You put yourself out there. And it's like that attitude of, well, you put yourself out there, I can say whatever I want. No, how about you have a bit of responsibility for yourself and accountability,
Yeah.
And I mean, I checked myself. I felt better. I kind of worked through those feelings like, these people aren't your friends. It doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. And I was okay again. But I thought, God, it really does affect you. Like, you can't help it. It just does.
Physiologically, you react. Like I got a comment on the YouTube one saying it was the rejection dysphoria one, and it was a follow-up post from one that we'd already done. It wasn't a standalone.
Yeah.
And I got this comment of all the things that I'd missed out of the video. And it was a proper, like, actually kind of email, and I actually them straight back. The, like, nicest way possible. Yeah. But it just, like, there was some, as I'm replying, I'm shaking.
Yeah, it makes me shaky. It's the confrontational side of it, isn't it? Where you're like, why does it make me feel like
I'm not built for adrenaline like that.
No, it's very strange. I'm glad in a way that we've shared that, because that's how it makes me feel really shaky. And then I have to think, why am I getting so upset about this? Like, but it's, you can't help it. It's really strange.
Ain't it? It's like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die, right? There's no point, like, whatever that saying is.
You just have to work yourself through it.
Liz and Alexi are saying that people are so mean. Why do they have to be like that? I don't understand why people are so mean. Why can't we all be kind? And that they love us, guys.
No, but this is why community is important, isn't it? Because
Definitely.
I almost reached out to my friends when it was happening and said, "Oh my god, girls, like this video's gone mad on Facebook and it's like garnering some really nasty comments." But as I was gonna write it, I thought, yeah, but are you that bothered? And that's when I started to come down off of it, because I thought, actually, as much as I wanted to express myself and like get it off my chest, just the thought of that, I thought, no, I'm not even that bothered actually. And then it started to help me turn around. And it's because I've got my beautiful community of friends and people that get me, that allowed me to bounce back. So you can see how bullying can, send people to a dark place, can't
Yeah,
it? They've
definitely.
got no one to bounce back to.
We're full grown adults, right, that have had experience to learn this. If you're currently at school and dealing with bullies without any experience in life, I don't know how you deal with that.
'Cause that's all I tell myself. They're just projecting. They don't know me. They are just projecting their own like, feel sorry for them. But it's easier said than done. And the older you get, the more you realise it is the truth. Like, pity the bullies.
Yeah, have compassion for them. I mean, like I said, how boring and miserable is your life that you have to leave that comment? Like, feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel sorry for you.
By all means, go over and have a browse through some of the comments. It's actually crazy.
Hey there. To finish off, Joss says, it doesn't take much effort for people to be nice and kind to other people. Totally agree.
No,
Love is more rewarding than hatred for both parties.
it absolutely is.
What a beautiful message. I agree.
And a person that shows kindness and love, you are so strong, because hate comes, it's easy to lash out and to react and to not kind of question yourself and check yourself. It actually takes a stronger person to say, no, I'm not going to add to this misery. I'm
not gonna feed the ego right now and like the sound of my own voice as I get more angry and more like worked up, like, because eventually I'm gonna come back down and be like, oh, I'm really embarrassed. I don't like the way I was then.
One woman that actually did reply to me, because she said about having an eye out, and I thought, well, you better keep your kids away from me then, or whatever. And then she was like, "You're a nice human, aren't you? It's all fun and games until it actually happens." And I replied to her, and I just thought, I am actually sorry. I was really heightened when I read all of these comments.
Oh,
And I never would want to see a child hurt.
that was so sweet of you.
By the next day, I thought, actually, I didn't mean that. I was just lashing out because everyone was lashing out at me.
And the truth is, you lady brought me there.
Isn't it? It's like, you're one of the voices that was hacking away, and then expecting me to what? Not retaliate.
Didn't make up this fantasy of kids getting hurt. People are bringing it to you, and you're like, oh, okay, well, don't bring them near my trolley.
We'll have no trouble.
Well, I feel like that was a good episode.
It was very nice to get back in the studio with all of our community and people. Make sure you hit the like button.
Like and subscribe. Please. And I will be back on Monday with Untangled. But the Dwight K. Schrute, we've also got another daytime Untangled. We're just about to leave, Dwight. I'm so sorry. Alexi, bye girls. Love you guys. I love you too, Alexi. Love you, Liz. Love you, Kat. Love you, Anna. Love you, Just. Love you, Dwight. Why not? Let's send it to Dwight too.
Yeah.
Even though he's late.
Say hi and bye. I'm so sorry that you're not going to watch us live, but you can re-watch the episode. It will be available on the channel.
Forever. And private members only live stream is the third Thursday of every month. So you can catch me and Lindsay together again there. But in the meantime, you'll see us all over socials. We're training for Tough Mudder.
Yep, follow me. Follow me on TikTok, Lindzi ADHD, LINDZI ADHD, and you can see all of our Tough Mudder stuff on there.
Oh, actually, I have. Sorry, emails and stuff. I do. There's the email and the website above our heads right now, apparently.
How lovely is that? Yeah, go check out the website. I put a lot of work into the website this year. And money.
Give it some views.
Yeah.
Go give it some clicks. Stay on the website for at least a minute. Just have a click around, see what you can see. We need to put a flash game on there or something. But yeah,
People do stay on there for over a minute. It says on the average time thing.
love it.
I think because it's so bright and there's quite a lot to see, people do click around. So it's doing its job.
I love that. Well, thank you very much, guys. We will see you on the next one. So, this is Lindsay.
This is Steph.
We're a different human design.
And it's different podcast.
Bye bye.
Why is it like this? Instead of hate, it should be love we invite in. You don't agree, then you're the problem that we're fighting. Open up your mind, stand up, become righteous. Why is it like this?